Welcome back to Factual America, where facts matter and truth always comes first. Today, we're peeling back the layers on a subject that's quietly shaping our workplaces, schools, and even our daily conversations: diversity training. We've all heard the slogans. Diversity is our strength. Inclusion for all. Or unconscious bias awareness. But have we stopped to ask, what's really behind the push for mandatory diversity training across America? If you think it's just about fairness or getting along with colleagues, buckle up. You're about to discover another side of the story the mainstream doesn't want you to hear. Let's start at the surface. Diversity training first emerged as a well-meaning effort to reduce workplace discrimination and foster understanding. Companies rolled out workshops, online modules, and seminars. It sounded sensible. Who wouldn't want a harmonious team? But as the movement spread, the tone shifted. Suddenly, what was once about mutual respect morphed into a maze of compulsory workshops, self-criticism sessions, and checklists you dare not ignore. The cost to organizations is staggering, over $8 billion a year. But where's all that money going, and what are we really getting in return? Let's face the numbers. Despite the billions spent, there's little empirical evidence these programs move the needle on genuine workplace harmony or productivity. Harvard studies show most diversity training has no positive effect, and sometimes even backfires, creating resentment and paranoia rather than real inclusion. Yet, these programs are multiplying, becoming more prescriptive and unavoidable. Why? The answer isn't just about business, it's about ideology. There's an agenda hiding in plain sight. Here's something most HR departments won't tell you. Modern diversity training borrows its script from radical ideas, particularly critical race theory and identity politics. These frameworks divide people into oppressor and oppressed groups based solely on skin color or gender, regardless of personal action or character. You're not an individual anymore. You're just a member of a group that must confess privilege or claim victimhood. Where does individual merit, hard work, or personal responsibility fit in? Often, they get pushed aside. But there's another twist, a subtle but powerful one. By forcing everyone to attend training and confess unconscious sins, organizations make themselves immune to lawsuits. It's a legal shield. See? We did the training. We can't be accused of discrimination. So instead of building true unity, the system creates box-ticking compliance. Employees learn to say the right words, not do the right thing. The result? Pressure, confusion, and sometimes even more division. Let's dig even deeper. Behind the corporate jargon is a growing industry of diversity consultants and training firms, raking in millions. Some trainers have no educational background in psychology or sociology. They're activists who use corporate America as their megaphone. The good intentions are lost in a fog of patronizing buzzwords and shaming tactics. Ever notice how dissent isn't tolerated in these sessions? Sabrainai, hiznain. You aren't there to discuss, you're there to agree or else. But here's where it starts getting even more uncomfortable. The shift to unconscious bias training. You are told, point blank, that you're part of a problem you can't see or even prove. No matter how you behave, your implicit bias can never be erased. It can only be confessed and monitored. This isn't training, it's struggle sessions. And if you object, you're accused of fragility or worse. This isn't about understanding, it's about ideological conformity. This phenomenon stretches beyond the office. Schools are adopting these methods, teaching children that their identity is destiny, that some are inherently privileged, and others perpetually oppressed. Young kids, instead of learning to respect all people, are being encouraged to see themselves and others first as labels. Does this build empathy? Or sow self-doubt and division from an early age? Now, you might be asking, is there a legitimate reason for companies to care about diversity and inclusion? Absolutely. America thrives on fairness and competition. No one should be judged or excluded because of their background. We should stamp out bigotry and give everyone a fair shot. But when efforts are hijacked by divisive ideologies, we lose sight of Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. Judging people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Let's talk about free speech. In an environment dominated by diversity training doctrine, real conversations about complex issues become dangerous. Employees fear to speak, professors walk on eggshells, and even comedians are self-censoring. Diversity becomes an excuse to silence real dialogue, enforce orthodoxy, and protect established power, not challenge it. Of course, defenders of these programs claim they're necessary to root out systemic bias. And if you object, you're simply proving you need more training. See the catch-22? There's no way to win, only to submit. It's not just about ending prejudice, it's about creating a new social order where dissent is pathologized and ideological conformity is rewarded. Hold on. I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't pushing back on this just another form of bigotry? That's the narrative, but the facts say otherwise. As former diversity officers admit, the data just doesn't add up. Some institutions see less trust and more tension after aggressive training. The real goal, critics argue, isn't harmony, but power. Ideological influence over as many minds as possible, especially the young, the impressionable, and the risk-averse. Consider this jaw-dropper. Some major corporations, while preaching diversity, quietly outsource jobs overseas, value profits over workers' local needs, or turn a blind eye to abuses abroad. The messaging isn't about real justice, it's good PR. Diversity training is the fig leaf, convincing the public they care, while the real game is played elsewhere. It's not just hypocrisy, it's manipulation. And let's not overlook a final twist, the rise of equity as an add-on to diversity and inclusion. What does equity mean in practice? Not equal treatment, but guaranteed equal outcomes. Excellence and effort fade, redistribution and quotas appear. This isn't the freedom and opportunity America was built on. It's a top-down social engineering project. If you object, you're labeled an obstacle to progress, even if you believe in real fairness for everyone. Here's the irony. Many of today's best, most innovative teams are diverse, naturally, not by force. They come together over shared goals, mutual respect, and open competition. True unity can't be manufactured with lectures or mandates. It requires freedom, trust, and a willingness to see people as individuals. That's what builds real bridges, not bureaucracy. So, why is all this happening now? Partly fear of being canceled. Companies, universities, and even government agencies rush to adopt the latest trend to avoid negative headlines. Activists leverage social media pylons to scare organizations into line. It's less about conviction and more about covering. Well, you know what? Is it any wonder meaningful discussions just vanish? And who benefits in the end? The consultants, the HR bureaucrats, the activist class, all building their influence in paychecks, while ordinary Americans are left with new rules, less trust, and more anxiety. Genuine respect, and even humor, gets choked out by a culture of suspicion. The path to real progress? It's being blocked right in front of our eyes. If all this feels overwhelming, that's exactly how it's designed. But here on Factual America, we believe in sunlight and open conversation. You have the right to ask hard questions, even when the answers make some people uncomfortable. The real American dream was built on liberty, honesty, and meeting each other as individuals, not as color-coded categories. So, what's the takeaway? Diversity is a beautiful thing, when it's genuine. Forced training, intimidation, and guilt trips don't create stronger teams. They build walls instead of bridges. Real unity comes from free minds, open hearts, and mutual respect. Values we must protect, now more than ever. Let's keep this conversation going. We want to hear from you. What's your experience with diversity training? Did it bring people together or make things worse? Are there better ways to build respect and opportunity in America? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know what other conventional wisdom you want us to question next. Here at Factual America, the truth doesn't take a day off. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more unfiltered facts.